Today we're looking at the neural Vertex, or also known as the early reversion Forex EA with RSI ADX MA strategy. So I guess to kind of try and rank a bit higher in the marketplace, the gentleman here, Mr. Karen Peta, has come up with two names, but at least from the very descriptive title, we now know, generally speaking, what type of strategy this bot is running. This video is sponsored by our free Golden Time Bomb Expert Advisor. Take your trading to the next level through automating the London breakout and the opening range breakout. Click the link in the description to download the EA completely for free. So I would guess that likely it has an RSI trigger with ADX and MA filters. And that's a very valid form of technical and more indicator-based strategy, particularly as this thing appears to primarily be running on currencies. So he's saying that it's mostly running on 6 currency pairs and gold on 5 years of data, and it blends RSI, ADX, and dual EMA. So it seems to be an indicator-heavy system, but most mean reversion style bots, which I venture this is, probably usually run on indicators, just because it's quite a bit more challenging to make a price action based system on more of a mean reversion premise. That's why I usually prefer to do breakout or trend following systems, as you can do that quite easily with more of a price action based premise, whereas this one's a bit more challenging to do so. So here, market type, mean reversion, fading temporary extreme. So as expected, it is indeed running so. The entry RSI exhaustion zones, and it's using the two different filters here, ADX filter and EMA filter. And the exit is a fixed stop loss take profit. And if you want, you can use a trailing one. So far, this is looking really good, actually, because he's giving a lot of details. Because usually when developers try and obscure everything, it's because there might not be a real strategy behind it. Realistically, as an EA developer, no strategy is magic, right? People are always a bit worried about, oh, my proprietary IP is going to be gone. But realistically, most EAs can be replicated. The real kind of proprietary access is being able to develop portfolios, sell multiple EAs, have different channels, and kind of have a business around it. So I've always found it's better to be transparent and just tell people how it works, because it enables them to then go out and actually understand the strategy and use it better. So you don't give away everything, but you should usually give away enough information for people to be able to make informed decisions. And I think this gentleman here agrees with me there. Trade management, session control, you get the EAs, you get various set files. When you're running so many different pairs, you probably need different set files. You're also running it on the M1, M5. It seems to be trading a hell of a lot of time, so 1,350 trades over 5 years. So actually it's not that crazy. I guess it depends on how many pairs you're using. And yeah, looks pretty solid. If we go check out this gentleman's YouTube page too, I think he has a fairly sizable YouTube channel. And he's been making content on indicators for a fair amount of time. And I believe this gentleman is British, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, he's been making videos for around 2 years. Cool. Okay, so now we can go check out the actual bots, but first let's look at some of these quant analyzer reports. A really good thing to see is actually this, where we're seeing that not every strategy is perfect. There's clearly a bunch of little drawdowns, little pullbacks in the broader equity curves. However, when we merge everything together, we get this nice smooth portfolio, which is generally why you take more of a portfolio management approach when designing EAs. Wim does this with his ultimate breakout system. I like to do this with some of my EAs, but I generally find that taking this kind of approach is very effective because it enables you to really smooth out performance in all different types of market regimes. So all very, very solid. And now here, if we go to the actual test, I've taken the liberty of downloading it. Guys, keep in mind I ran this without the set files because you have to message them for the set files. So this is not a particularly useful test to performance. I would venture that to get something that goes up, you probably do need to use set files. I just wanted to kind of gather what the exact strategy would be. He mentioned to run it on the M5. And as expected, it is indeed running a more mean reversion style system. So I would assume that it's effectively running exactly what he says it is. And yeah, here we go, more mean reversion. So RSI based trigger with some sort of EMA ADX style filter. Probably because he's doing mean reversion, he's probably filtering out overly trending markets, and the ADX is perfect for that. You just say don't trade once the ADX is above a certain threshold. At the same time, you probably want to trade in the direction of the general trend. Therefore, that's what your MA filters are for, and your RSI tells you when to enter. So classic technical analysis based strategy. There's nothing crazy about it. It's probably one of the most tried and tested styles. The main thing to be careful with that type of system is it's very easy to overfit, because you have potentially 4 different indicators going on here, because there's 2 EMAs. You can create a gajillion combinations of indicators and over optimize the crap out of it. So it's one thing to be very mindful of. It's a good strategy, it can work. eHor does some good stuff like this too, but it's very easy to over optimize. Just be careful with that. So overall, looking pretty solid. One thing to note is there's no live signal. So that's kind of the one knock against it. We would want to see some live signals. So far, all the comments and reviews are looking pretty solid. People are quite pleased. So yeah, overall, people seem rather happy. Let's try and check there's no live signal, but it could just be because it's rather new. So that would be my guess there. So now we can go back here and just do a final test of running ourselves a visual back test, just to see if those indicators show up like I believe they will. And yes, so quite obviously we have ADX, probably some sort of ATR based stop. So it's very transparent, like we know what it's doing. It's nothing too crazy. It's entering with RSIs. ADX is a filter, probably stop loss is based on ATR. And we also have some trend filters. Very classic style indicator system. Big knock against it. This could be, you can over optimize the crap out of them. But he seems like a very storied developer, somebody who's been around for a bit. So I would venture that he's probably done best practices with out of sample testing, in sample testing, etc. to make it a bit more robust. And people do well with this style of system. So it's just not my personal preference, but a lot of people love it. So to each their own. So far, it looks pretty good. Once we see a live signal, I'd have a lot more confidence in it, but it's a very promising start. So guys, if anybody buys this bot, let me know. He's a new developer on the MQL5 marketplace, so perhaps he's going to start introducing some new cool things. And yeah, let me know in the comment section if you have any comments. Take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.